Salute, salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing as the Knicks pick up their third straight win of preseason, facing the Minnesota Timberwolves at MSG tonight, handling their business, right? Plenty to break down tonight with the best chat in the biz as the Knicks make a statement. This is a statement win. It's preseason. There's some good, there's some things we've got to clean up. But let's talk about it, guys. Big time performance from OG Anunoby early in this ball game. And it was Mikal Bridges with his best game as a New York Knick. Welcome to Knick moment from Mikal Bridges tonight. He gave the Knicks a big spark, 10 points in the third. But I thought it was Brunson's aggression and Karl-Anthony Towns that also helped get the Knicks ahead, and the bench closed it out in style. Welcome in, Knicks Nation, to the post-game live with DT on the streets buzzing. Let's break this thing down. Let's give out the grades and let's talk about the road ahead. Man, 115, 110. Workman type performance from the New York Knicks, right? Pleasing, right? Faced adversity, obviously got down 10. Anthony Edwards was an absolute flamethrower tonight, right? But the New York Knicks steadied the ship, courtesy, like I said, of Brunson. I thought his aggression and, he got the big and one play right before the half. And then the third quarter, basically Mikal Bridges gave the Knicks big minutes with 10 points in that third, was aggressive. Once again, guys, the ball movement was solid. I thought the Knicks obviously were a little lacking defensively at times, but Ant-Man got hot. A lot of those shots were just uncontested, and he just let it fly. But Karl-Anthony Towns, man, with one of the highlight plays of the night, right, putting Josh Minott in his place and splashed that three to put the Knicks ahead. It was a fun game tonight, man. It was entertaining. It was back and forth. We'll talk about Dante DiVincenzo and his quotes, yapping at the free throw line, right? When you get traded, I feel like you can still talk your stuff. But Dante DiVincenzo, man, he made some quotes pre-game that we'll talk about tonight as well. But Deuce McBride, Cameron Payne were really, really good tonight. And like I said, the bench gave the Knicks a good spark, I think, to close the game out, in style. But this is a perfect warm-up, I think. And we've obviously got 2 more preseason games to look forward to before the real deal. But this is the kind of, high-intensity game that you want, right? I know it's a big sporting night. We've got the NFL on now as well, but salute to the chat. It's absolutely buzzing with us right now. Coach Stephen, Paula, what's up, T, Buzzer Beater, Mr. Lee, Joe Rodriguez is with us, and Richard, Ryan, Knicks Nation. We up in here heavy. Let's know your thoughts, guys. You know what I do. I shut you guys out, man. I want to hear the energy coming through tonight. And what did you see from tonight? And what was your favorite part of the game, right? You could hashtag player initials and you can vote for your player standout for either tonight or from preseason as a whole, right? Welcome addition to get Deuce back into the lineup. He was out last game from illness, but he's back, man, and he did not miss a beat. He was absolutely firing tonight, was Deuce. I love his energy, his pace, especially that play where he just absolutely ran the ball up the court and got his teammate a fast break bucket as well. So great to see Deuce back. I think the Knicks' aggression early was key. We got the Timberwolves, man, hacking and whacking, in the words of Clyde. We got them in foul trouble early, and they just couldn't recover, man. Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels, right? Those guys are going to have to get used to a larger role. And you saw tonight that they struggled, staying out of foul trouble, right? As here you see Dante, man, one of the stories of the night, saying that's what happens when they let you run the show, right? He was yapping at somebody on the Knicks bench, right? It seemed to be in jest to me. It seemed to be a bit of a joke, but maybe behind that was some emotion. There's always going to be emotions flowing. I'm not going to say tempers flaring, but like I said before, when you get traded, you can talk your stuff. You know what I mean? But I think it's all good when it comes down, deep down, DiVincenzo, he would have loved to stay in New York Knick, but it is what it is, guys. The trade happened, and we move forward. Now, those of you that may not have seen, we had the tribute video that was flowing, and it was all about, Dante returning with Julius Randle, right? We had the tribute from the Garden. I think it was classy. I didn't expect them to do anything major right now, but it is what it is, right? Good to see us pay our tributes to these former Knicks and the legacy that they leave behind, right? Of course, they'll get their official return during the season, right? Julius did not play tonight, but Dante DiVincenzo was a huge factor in this ball game early, man. He was an absolute bucket, right? We'll take a quick gander at the box score, shout you guys out, and look at the highlight plays from the night, man. We're riding high, 3-0. Are you buying stock into this preseason so far? Right, I am. I'm buying some stock after tonight. We were tested. Our defense is still trying to, figure things out, get on the same page. I thought Hart and Bridges struggled a little in the first half in checking Ant-Man, but you'll love to see OG Anunoby like that loose, fam. So yeah, Buzzer, you can vote OG with hashtag just OG. Yeah, thanks for asking. Player initials, but yeah, DM for Deuce McBride and hashtag OG if you would like to vote for OG, fam. Like I said before, man, Brunson, Mr. Clutch, he arrived, right, with this big trailing 3. And I think we are going to get a lot of plays like this season, guys, with the trailing 3. We saw it with Brunson in full effect with that one. What's up, AP says, did I catch Dante yapping with Rick Brunson? Okay. That is the talk going around. I have to look at it and we'll wait for the wash up as we continue streaming live tonight post game. Smash that like button, guys. Really helps the channel out and get this post game show out there for more Knicks fans as we're all buzzing. But yeah, man, if it was at Rick Brunson, I mean, like I said, some emotions flowing. And we'll talk about that later as we go tonight. But OG, man, big minutes early, man. You want to see this this player, this role that he has now grow, right? There's no doubt about it. We don't have Julius Randle anymore on this team. OG Anunoby is our starting power forward, and he was really aggressive. 6 of 13, 3 of 8 from 3. Kind of came back down after being really hot early and missed a couple of open ones, but basically his aggression is really needed. Helped us out a lot tonight. 2 assists, 6 rebounds, plus 7 with a 19-point performance, man. Really solid. He's one of them, splashing them. We're getting a lot of open looks, guys, and I'm really starting to buy a lot of stock in our offense being top offense in the league. Top 3, top 2, top. I think it's all going to come together. I think the pace is up. I know a lot of you guys will be happy to hear that. Like Buzzer Beater said, the pace is up from last season, and that's something that we really needed to see. And with all that, man, Josh Hart finished with 0 points. David says, I'm a little concerned with Hart, not even attempting his shot. I think that'll come, man. I think he's probably one of the guys that's got to adjust to the role the most. But Hart's just that Swiss Army knife. I think he'll fit in. But only 25 minutes tonight. Guys are still finding their rhythm. Also, as I'll say, I think there's a guy, that admitted that he didn't play much basketball early in the summer, and that was Josh Hart. He did give himself some time to rest, and I think we might see some early season rust. But I'm not too worried about that. Cat, inefficient night again, but you love the aggression. You love him being aggressive and taking the ball to the cup. Once again, he got to the free throw line 4 times and finished 100%, but 16 rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns putting, to bed some of the doubts that we might struggle with rebounding, right? That's a welcome addition. 16 rebounds from the big cat and 16 points with a +7. Only finished with 3 fouls and 3 steals. So Cat was active defensively. after the hot start from OG. But yeah, we'll talk in depth further as we go tonight, man. This will be a longer show tonight, man, as we're buzzing. And we'll look at the road ahead because of the 2 games still to remain. But for me, I feel like the best story to come out of tonight was to see Mikal Bridges really switch that game up when you see him become that little bit of an alpha, you know, the Brooklyn kind of role where Bridges said, "Oh, look, I'm going to take over at this stretch," and I think that that switched the game up, from where it was going because when Brunson hit the bench and the Wolves were up 10, we needed a spark, and Mikal Bridges provided that 6 of 11. Um, hit one of these open threes. I think he needs to be more efficient, no doubt about it, from deep. But got to the free throw line a little bit, and 15 points plus 13, team high tonight from the bridge man, Mikal Bridges, the Iron Man. Good to see, really good to see him get into his groove as well. Jericho Sims did foul out, David. Yes, we'll talk about that. Huck Porty didn't get any minutes until Sims fouled out, right? So I think we can read into that probably Tibbs is still leaning towards Sims, but there's still 2 more games, and perhaps Tibbs is still going to use those remaining 2 games to play some other guys and make an evaluation. But Sims fouling out tonight, man, in 12 minutes. Give me your take on that. Do you read something into that? Are you confident with Jericho getting, the bulk of those backup minutes as well? I thought Precious once again really solid. Didn't do a whole lot, but just be aggressive in his spots. 2 of 5, got us 5 defensive rebounds and 4 points. But yeah, a lot of that was garbage time late. Cameron Payne and Landry Shamet, guys. Are you guys feeling the champagne flowing now? Because I'm really liking Cameron Payne's preseason. I'm not going to lie, man. Out of just consistency, I could give a vote for campaign, man, to be a top 3 standout of preseason so far, just from his consistency. Tonight he had it flowing, right? He was aggressive, he was getting to the cup, and he was helping them get into foul trouble as well. John says Payne off the bench. Agree with that one. Yeah, Hart's that connector. I feel like most nights now, he's going to take a back seat offensively in the starting 5 to the core 4 with Brunson, Cat, Bridges, and OG. There's a lot of mouths to feed, guys, as well. So I'm excited. Great to see Benji in the building. What's up, Pablo? We've got DN, Prezi. We've got AI in the building, Demario. And we've got Will, what's up? And SB, OG the dog as well. Coach says Brunson needs to trust his team. Take over in the 4th. I think Brunson said when Ant-Man was really forcing the issue, we saw Brunson say, hey, not on my house, man. Not on my court. And I thought, Brunson did pull the game back. It was getting out of reach. I'm not going to lie, man. It was down 10. But, early, these guys are still figuring things out. But there's no doubt who is the alpha on this team. And that is the captain, JB, fam. Right. As we saw the tribute video once again. And first time for Dante DiVincenzo coming back to MSG after the trade. Man, it was an emotional kind of, night in terms of that perspective, right? And obviously Dante, we'll talk about this right now. Dante says, my love for Knicks fans is through the roof, right? It was one of the best years of my life playing here last year, right? And he put to bed any of that animosity pre-game. But then when you step behind those lines, man, the emotions can get the best of you, right? And we're kind of kidding ourselves if you feel like he wanted to get traded. Yes, he's coming to terms with his new team and his new surroundings, but I don't think he would have wanted to get traded, right? So I think, the emotions got to him at the free throw line, right? I don't think there was any malice in it. I think he was just talking his trash, really. I mean, the man got traded, right? The man didn't want to get traded. So that's where I feel that was coming from. But, off court, these guys are boys and family, right? Was he talking to Rick Brunson? Let me know. I haven't really seen enough outside of coming on live right now after the game. But yeah, champagne was flowing. SB. Jean Charel says, yeah, Hart is the job guy with the starting five. Yep, you get it. Definitely understand what Hart's role is on this team. But having said that, man, we don't want to see donuts. He should be getting some easy buckets playing with those other guys. So I think Hart will find his spot, right? Yep. As D. Smitty also echoes the concerns. Any thoughts there towards that? Yeah, I just think there's a little bit of rust. That's just me personally, right? If we see it for another 5 more games, then I will, raise my concern level. But right now, Hart said himself that, he didn't really play basketball until late in the summer because, he was, taking some time off, resting the body and all of those things. But I also always like to point out the good things that Hart does. And he was pushing the break and he was getting guys really easy looks as well. Got 3 assists, 4 rebounds. At critical times, Hart will get you an assist. He'll push the break, and he'll sort of make his presence felt that way. But we know he's not a scorer. I think he just tries to play within the flow of the offense, right? So, great question from Buzzer Beater. So, Tibbs tightened the rotation tonight, right? So, this is what we're going to see closer to opening night, fam. Kolek, I think, will be situational early on. And I also think Ariel Hukporti will be situational early on. And Sims will probably be that 10th guy. He might play him, he might not, basically. So we know the starting 5. And just to echo that, the bench guys. So the guarantee guys are Deuce McBride is the 6th man. Payne has to be the 7th man, right? Payne is the first backup point guard. Landry Shamet definitely earned himself a roster spot and a rotation spot, in my opinion. And of course, Precious Achua. Chewy is our 9th guy. And so when it comes to the 10th guy, it could be Kolek on some nights, or it could be Jericho Sims. I think we, maybe matchup dependent. For example, guys, against Boston, no Kristaps in opening night. We might not need Jericho Sims. They might be playing small ball. Boston, and so we might just get by with Cat and Achua when it comes to that. But look, Jericho, man, the jury is still out. The jury is still out, right? Break glass in case of emergency. 10th guy, we'll see. Fouling out after 12 minutes is pretty, it's tough, right? But is Sims really going to play more than 12 minutes in a meaningful game anyway, right? The jury is still out about that as well, guys. So shout out to the chat buzzing right now. Smash that like button and shout out to Replay Squad. You're rocking with the best chat in the biz. CT live on the New York Knicks post game. And shout out to the Giants, the Jets, the Yankees, the Mets, and the Liberty as well. And the Rangers, shout out. I'm going to check the score as I continue streaming tonight. Fundamental says Bridges changed his shot. I think tonight, yeah, you saw a little bit of jankiness with it. Missed a couple of open ones, but I liked his aggression, putting the ball on the floor. I think that's going to be the key for Mikal Bridges, for me personally, right? Putting the ball on the floor and attacking the rim. So how many free throws did Bridges attempt tonight? He attempted 3, right? Brunson absolutely lived at the free throw line tonight with 13 free throw attempts and sinking 11 of them as well. So that deserves a salute. I got to tip my cap to Brunson, man. Hopefully an improved season at the free throw line, because that is really important. Miles McBride, perfect 100%, 4 of 4. Landry Shamet, 3 of 3. Cameron Payne knocked down his as well. And Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby all knocked down all of their free throws tonight. So that was the pivotal swing in tonight's ball game. I think getting Minnesota into foul trouble, fam. And could this be a preview of the New York Knicks just overwhelming teams, fam, in terms of our starting five? We haven't seen it at its peak, and I still feel like, honestly, it's in probably third gear. Third gear still. I feel like we could see a lot more, especially if Hart gets his rhythm. But tonight it was OG and it was Mikal Bridges' turn, right? And it was time for Cat and Brunson to have their moments, but also same with Bridges and OG. So that was big time. Nick Squad says, I want to see more of Kolek. I agree. I think he's just got to be patient, fam, and I think he'll be ready when he gets those minutes. Yorkel says Sims doesn't fit. David says Huck Porty is going to take the spot. We'll see. Nick Squad, Devo Sour. Yeah, I think just the emotions, trash talking, in game. But he said his piece, before the game, and he said how much being a Knick meant to him, and how much he appreciates the fans' love, man. But no doubt, there's got to be some kind of feelings towards being traded, right? Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, "I want to get traded today," and that's exactly what DiVincenzo said. Yeah, David Hart getting in transition is big time. I think that we need to see more of that. Just be that distributor. And I said it last show, not that I want this to happen, but if Hart gets no points, but he gets 8 assists and he gets double-digit rebounds, that's that glue guy. That's the glue guy that we need. Buzzer Beater says, we got to talk about Sims. I see him with added size, but who fouls out in 13 minutes of a preseason game. Yeah, just processing of the game, fam. I think ill discipline at times. But you got to give Minnesota some credit because they played with the Twin Towers, man. That's a handful for anyone, man. You see just above the notes, the starting five tonight was a Twin Tower. Look, with Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert, right? So obviously no Mike Conley and no Julius Randle tonight, right? But what are your guys' thoughts on the OG performance early, right? Third option, fourth option with the starting five on any given night, he's going to be a handful, man. I see some votes coming through now for OG. Hashtag OG, hashtag JB, if you want for your player standout. Mikal Bridges got some votes now as well. Rudy Gobert on earning his 43 milli. Giants are losing at the moment, okay? Hopefully they can get back into it. What's up, Roberto? Says Sim size, let Precious go off. I like how they play together. I think what I've seen so far is that Tibbs will keep Sims as the preferred backup for now, but I think he might switch things up. Look, Huck Porty is young still. He's a rookie as well. He'll get his opportunity, I feel, at some point. If Sims can be consistent, right, it's better for the team, obviously. But I do feel like in the long haul that Huck Porty will, will earn more minutes. That's just how I feel. He's one of our Hearts dimes, setting up JB with the trailing 3. I think that was a big swing in the ball game, guys. So, look, sharing is caring. I thought the assists were solid. Brunson with 6, Hart and Bridges with 3, Cameron Payne also with a 3, Landry Shamet and Deuce with 3 as well, and OG Anunoby with 2 assists too. So I think that just needs to be the hallmark of New York Knicks basketball this season, is sharing is caring. Going back since the Knicks championship years of the early 70s, man, we had weapons in Clyde and Pearl, and we had DeBuscher. We had so many guys that were just unselfish and move the rock. I think that's just what we need to focus on the most. With Karl Anthony Towns, I love his aggression, but some of his shot selection, I think, can be a little concerning at times. He needs to find his rhythm between distributing with Brunson and the other guys and also not forcing it, I think. So I'm not concerned at all. I'm just pointing out an area that I think Cat can clean up, right? 5 of 13 and 2 of 6 from deep, right? That's 3 games in a row that he's been inefficient. But tonight, I love the rebounding and I love the activeness on the defensive side. And he still finished in a +7 as well, right? Also, let's give an honourable shout out for Tibbs because I feel like he did tonight perfect. You know, he tightened the rotation a little to get ready for the real deal, but he still kept everyone under 30 minutes as well. So Cat stopped short of 29 minutes, Brunson with 24 minutes. Deuce and Shamit got their 20s. Hart, OG also got their 20s with Bridges as well. So nobody played more than 30 minutes tonight, but it was kind of the closest thing that we're going to get to that real deal. What's up, darling? In the building, Stanley says, I would love to see a trade for Smart, but not sure what Knicks could offer Memphis. Right? Smart offers you those winning intangibles, but I just can't see who we're going to give up. Damn, I just can't see it outside of maybe Mitch. But then you've got to include more salary. And do we gut our depth even further? You know, Precious Achua to me is a keeper. I would love to see him stay. I would love to see Mitch get healthy and really be a factor because I think we're going to need his defense. Really, there's no doubt Karl Anthony Towns can be active, and I think he can be solid as the starting center. But I think another look to be more sound defensively would be really helpful, right? Whether or not Sims can take that opportunity, is Huck Porty that guy? We'll wait and see. I think we'll find out, man. All of those answers will be revealed. But tonight, man, the Knicks, the story is 3-0, right? I think we've looked better as each game has gone by. Tonight, man, much tougher competition. So, you take that and you run. I think we were faced with adversity, and it was that workman type performance where we just needed kind of everyone to step up in various moments of the game. And that's how I feel like, the Knicks games are going to go this season. We might see stretches where Brunson hasn't got it going, and Cat becomes our go-to guy, or Cat is struggling with his shot, and Bridges and OG become that focal point. That's the luxury that we have. Different guys can have it going at different times, different nights, and it's up to us to just play smart, play efficient and play effective, right? See, the thing is, our aggression and our firepower was just too much to keep, the Wolves out of foul trouble, right? I think that's a pleasing victory from this ball game, right? Despite some inefficiencies, you love to see Brunson getting to the line 13 times. And you also love to see Cat getting aggressive as well, right? So, sometimes it's not going to be pretty. Some of these wins this season are going to be gritty. But the fact is we've just got so much firepower that I think we can grind teams down, really. The Wolves definitely needed Julius tonight, and they needed Conley, right? They needed a heroic performance from Ant-Man. And my God, did Ant-Man try to put that team on his back. Right, 4 straight threes in the second quarter, and I was like, will somebody guard the man? Will somebody, double him or check him? But thankfully he cooled off a bit. But, it was a big second quarter to close it out, fam, with Brunson's 15 points and OG 17 points at the half, right? Those guys were the heroes of the first half. But then the third and the fourth goes to Cat, Bridges, and the bench, right? A little 2-man game. Also, we haven't talked enough about Deuce Miles McBride. Inefficient night, but was aggressive. Got to the line as well. Finished with 12 points and 3 assists, plus 13. That was an equal team high in his minutes, man. The 6th man is going to get plenty of opportunities. D. Cool and Prezi say we don't need any more guards, or we don't need Smart. That I think we'll need his savviness at times, maybe in the postseason, but I don't know if we have enough to pull that trade off as well. But let's salute to Dick Barnett, fam, the Hall of Famer. I'm going to bring this up. Dick Barnett, man, has been inducted to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, man. Another Knicks legend there, getting his dues, right? So salute to Dick Barnett for the love and the honor that he receives. Also, we might talk a bit about this later tonight as we do the NBA stock watch, right? But Joel Embiid, all the gassing up of Philadelphia, man, right? The man can't stay healthy, and I've joked about it a lot because I feel like give me a postseason where Embiid's healthy, right? Before anyone starts to gas them up, right? It's the same thing every year. I think Mitchell Robinson has a better shot at staying healthy when it comes to that. So Embiid out for the remainder of the preseason, right? Take it as you will. I think they're already load managing the man, right? He's got to get through a full 82 games, and then he's got to get to the playoffs first, healthy, before Philly's even a factor in that. So, right, I think moving forward, right, if we stay healthy, it's our time. It's our time, guys. Loose Joint says, I believe Dante was talking to JB. He was definitely yapping at the bench. So a lot of people feel like it was Rick Brunson. Precious was looking behind him, apparently. Maybe it was someone in the crowd as well. But yeah, I know a lot's going to be read into that, but I'm not reading too much into it. I think he was just a guy who was talking trash, Dante was that guy that was just letting his feelings out there that, kind of said in jest, but also maybe some feelings behind it as well about, not being on the Knicks anymore, man. It has to be emotional. It does get to you at certain points when you come back to MSG, where you have the franchise shooting record, and it's all there, all those memories are coming back to you, splashing the double bang in the playoffs with Mike Breen, getting all the love, right? Minnesota's just not the same, right? I think, I mean, they've got a solid fan base, the Minnesota, and a nice fan base, but it's not on the level of the New York Knicks. So he has to come to grips with, his new surroundings, right? But it has to be emotional, visiting MSG, right? This was Cat putting the ball on the floor early. I love this play, taking it to Naz Reid. Reid was overplaying him. So that's what I want to see with Cat. Don't just fall in love with the shooting and the three ball. The guy presses up on you, man, he's got the ability to put the ball on the floor and attack it. I could see him doing this against Embiid. I can see him doing it against KP and Al Horford as well. And some good spacing there as well. The lane was wide open. You had Deuce and you had Mikal Bridges on each corner. And that's what had the lane wide open. Naz Reid, of course, was up all the way, right? Joe Ingles is there as the last line of defense, right? He's not any rim protector. So that's the matchup that we need to exploit and take advantage of, guys. Jean says we need a big move, right? We need a big to move Hart to the bench. Then we good. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Precious might get some starts this season. The Twin Towers. Also, if Mitch gets healthy, Tibbs might not be able to resist playing Hart back to the bench and then Mitch also alongside Cat. I think that is maybe a go-to move up Tibbs' sleeve as the season progresses. But I think Mitchie's got to get healthy. But if you play without another big and you have Cat as the 5, you don't get these kind of options, fam, because Mitch and Precious can't space the floor out as much. So this is the advantage that you live with, and you reap the reward with Cat being able to take it all the way down Broadway. So you take the good and the bad. One thing's for sure, man, we are averaging something like 115 a night in preseason, and right where we are, 115 tonight. Our offense is super powered, and guys have been inefficient at times as well. So I think outside of the struggles with chemistry and figuring things out with the rotations and some defensive lapses, I've got to give the preseason an A- so far. I mean, you are what your record says, undefeated. Obviously we put the beat down on two bad teams. There's been a little bit of garbage time involved, but tonight was a real test, and I think we passed the test. We had guys step up in the moment, including OG. Said, "Don't forget about me." Old Head says, "I'm not feeling OG playing the power forward all season. How long before he gets hurt?" Look, that's something to watch, no doubt about it. Cat at the 5 is a great mismatch. OG at the 4 though is the consequences of that, having to play Cat at the 5, right? Um, but look, guys are interchangeable. Hart can still guard some 4s. We know Mikal Bridges is also long enough to check some 4s as well. Could that be the recipe to keep OG more healthy? Also, keeping guys' minutes down is going to be key as well. Old Head. Uh, Once again, I did sing Tibbs' praise before, kept everyone's minutes below 30. I think that could be the key. Also, let's not forget that the New York Knicks have signed the best sports science guy in the business, Casey Smith from Dallas, right? The leading sports science doctor, right? If he can get OG healthy through a full 75 games, 82, man, he'll earn his money. Also, if he can get, Cat being healthy and also get Mitchell Robinson back, that'll be great. So I'm looking for Tibbs to maybe play guys less minutes in the starting 5, but sprinkle some of the bench in, including Deuce as well. Salute Firestarter from France. Welcome in. Great game from the New York Knicks tonight. Rudy Gobert had some struggles, but it was the Knicks starting 5 and the bench that handled their business. Yeah, Hart, a little bit of rustiness, no doubt about it. But look, everyone's going to find one, thing to clean up or one negative per se, right? And right now, that is Josh Hart. He's not shooting, he's not attempting shots, but I feel like he's just making sure other guys get their rhythm before he gets his shots as well. But he will get open looks, because OG, Mikal, Cat, and Brunson, Josh Hart he'll be the one that will get those open looks, right? But yeah, I think tonight was a good example, guys, that OG can be that 20 points per game scorer if he gets enough shots, right? And tonight he tied with top shot attempts with 13, alongside with Cat and Brunson, right? So that's what you love to see, unselfishness. See, Cat and Brunson, they're not ball hogs, right? They will get, other guys going if there's a hot hand. And they allowed OG Anunoby to get his easy looks early, and like I said, it's pleasing for me to see 3 guys tied with the top shot attempts. You see, because it's all good to have a guy like Anthony Edwards, fam, and we saw tonight, you live and die by that. You live and die by the sword if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. Because while Ant-Man got you 4 threes in a row, and you keep going to him, what did he do after that? He heat checked and he airballed that one, man. And that kind of let the air out of Minnesota's offense, right? So he's got Cat no longer there as that pressure valve, right? So they're going to need Julius Randle a lot. But for the New York Knicks, if one guy is in a funk or even 2 guys are in a funk, they can just kick it out to the other guy and it might be his night. And that was the case in point tonight with OG and Anunoby, right? Helping those guys out early, right? So yeah, Darlin says we are a work in progress. I agree with that, right? We're taking a small sample. Don't forget, guys, this is 3 games. This is 3 games, and there's going to be some things we have to clean up, no doubt about it. But one thing I learned tonight, man, is that Brunson has still got it, right? He can take over a ball game, right? When we were in a hole, it was a 10-point hole or a 12-point hole, and Ant-Man was stealing the show. Jalen Brunson stepped up and got it going, fam. Got the crowd involved. Was getting to the line, man. There was just no matchups for him. He was a single-handed wrecking ball, and he was getting all of them in foul trouble with his 13 free throw attempts, man. He got Josh Minot up in the air looking like a fool. He got Naz Reid in foul trouble. He got Jaden McDaniels in foul trouble. He took it to everybody tonight, did Jalen Brunson. He got their whole team in foul trouble by being aggressive and also moving the rock as well. See, I like this play because we kick the ball up fast, and look where Ant-Man is on this play. Look who Ant-Man's guarding. He's guarding Josh Hart with the basketball. That's perfect for us, right? If they're going to use Ant-Man to guard Josh Hart, that just leaves Brunson and the other guys to eat as well. So Minnesota were discombobulated on that one. You see Jaden McDaniels late on that closeout as well, and you see Dante DiVincenzo frustrated on that one, and Brunson cool, calm, collected with that one, with the extra floor spacing. So what we got now, guys, is we've got 3 games. We've got some statistical data to analyze. We're going to break it down. We've got a great guest coming on Wednesday night, John Schmelk of the New York Giants. And as I say that, salute to the New York Giants. I'm going to pull up the score right now and see what's up. They're down 0-7 in the second quarter. But to my point, man, we're going to talk about the data and things, in terms of our offense, the spacing, and all of those things. We'll look into that right in the next show. But 3 games in, things are looking good, right? Things are looking good. I think we want to start the season well. We've got Boston, Indiana, Cleveland, and Miami. And games like tonight really help guys, basically find their groove, put up or shut up time, because I'm not looking for these next 2 games to really offer us any significant test. Charlotte and Washington, it's just going to be the same thing again, man. Let's try and get Pacome Dadier in. Like David said, salute. Let's try and get Huck Porty in some minutes, Tyler Colette, and get these guys going in these next 2 preseason games, and just get guys healthy, I think, coming into opening night, right? As we raid Boston and ring ceremony night, right? So now is voting time, guys. We're not going to give out grades individually. I said we'll save that for the real deal. But starting opening night, we'll start, and you guys will get to vote player grades for each player as we go through it. But what you can vote for now is your standout player of preseason, right? It's been a little up and down, but so far I feel like Deuce McBride, Cameron Payne definitely deserve to be in the mix. And then obviously tonight, Jalen Brunson, I think, and Karl Anthony Towns are making their case, right? Bridges, this is really his first major game. I think OG's been solid for a couple of the games, and then really good tonight. But I think, overall, it would probably be, I'll be leaning towards Deuce, Payne, or Brunson or Cat as my player standouts for the preseason so far, which is good. Lets us know that there's 2 players from the starting 5 and there's 2 players from the bench unit, just to show that things aren't too imbalanced with where we're going right now as well. So appreciate my guy, right, for the super sticker and the contributions. Let's get it. Iconoclast 6, let's go. Appreciate you. And great win for the New York Knicks tonight. Pacome Dadier was healthy. That was officially confirmed. So he was eligible to play tonight. But I think Tibbs was just, tightening the rotations up, and seeing how things look. Don't forget, guys still have to make the roster. So I think he was giving Payne, Shamet, that extended run, I think. And he also wants to build those habits about, getting ready to continue to win, right? Look, it's looking pretty clear that we'll end the preseason 5-0, right? Barring some unforeseen circumstance against Charlotte and Washington, guys. It looks like we'll be heading into Boston on opening night. The story will be your undefeated New York Knicks, most likely. So that is going to put more pressure on this squad, but it's also got to have things feeling good about, being prepared, I feel, for that opening night. And my guy has a question, so appreciate it again. Wonder if Kolek will get time in the G League if he doesn't get minutes. Definitely. Yeah, he'll be playing Westchester, I think, with Huck Porty, Dadier. But I think Tibbs values the time with the big club over the G League. So I could only see Kolek going down to the G League, fam, when there is maybe a couple of off days, just so he can go back down to the G League, play a game, and then come back up too. Yeah, Yorkel's point about OG Anunoby. Yeah, I've talked about that in the past, but I think if there is one superstar that the Knicks might acquire in the future, I think Devin Booker is a guy to keep your eye out. Nothing imminent, nothing this season, but long term in the future. Teams would definitely, entertain a blockbuster trade if an OG Anunoby is a guy, in that trade. But right now, I mean, the Knicks are going to make that run this season, and we'll have time to tinker if needed, right? But hopefully we win the chip this season. That should be the goal. Yeah, Roberto Charles Barkley was 6'5", so yeah, it's all about girth and I think strength. Too, the league isn't what it used to be. I mean, some guys go extra big, but then you can counter that with playing extra fast now. I think Indiana also showed us the blueprint. And to be honest with you, I don't really look at Jason Tatum as some threatening four either. He's not a burly power forward. He's really a three, in my opinion. But because you've got Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Drew Holiday, who could guard multiple positions, it works. And I think the Knicks can do the same. I think that the Knicks can do the same on that one, right? So let us know your thoughts on the tribute that the Knicks showed. Love to Dante and Julius coming back to New York in this one, and saluting all the work that they did on and off the court. I think this can be one step towards, progressing and moving forward for all parties involved in the trade. But obviously, it was an emotional night, tonight. And, the story will be Dante DiVincenzo, his quotes pre-game, his quotes during the game, which I think was more of the trash talk kind of thing. Mr. Lee says in relation to the starting unit, they really have no good rebounders right now. They lost Randall, so there's only Hart. Hopefully, Cat picks up his rebounds. Look, tonight, yeah, was pleasing from the rebounding with Cat. 13 boards. Or was it 16? Sorry, it was 16 boards for Cat. But yeah, it's going to have to be a team effort. But also, you got to look at other factors involved. We've got more spacing, so that we're going to have more opportunity to grab offensive rebounds, I feel, with the defense spread out, right? When you're a bad shooting team, defenses can pack the paint, and they'll be, in prime position to grab the rebounds. But I think some people have also talked about this, but with good shooting numbers and more floor spacing, the Knicks will be able to have a better fighting chance, I think, at getting extra rebounds now with the floor spaced out. But I'm not worried right now because we have to see things played out with versatility that we have. Hart can easily go back to the bench and they can just sub Achua in with matching up. Let's say a team goes ultra big like we see tonight. Now, that is one of the concern levels, I think, entering the season. The other one is rhythm. Right? Guys just need to play off of each other well with all this talent. And it's not easy, guys, embedding new talent. We've seen, a star-studded Laker team not even get it done when they had Steve Nash, Kobe, Dwight, Gary Payton, and Pau Gasol. And they lost to the 04 Pistons, right? They lost to a more defensive sound, cohesive team. And so when you're integrating a lot of talent, it takes a bit of time. So Obviously, we've got to chill a bit and just see how it all plays out. But I think we're going to cruise through a lot of these teams, right? I think we'll just basically be winging it. Yep, I like Precious. I like Precious's sort of role on this team, where he can be that utility forward. I don't like Precious as the sole rim protector, but we can play fast with Precious Achua as well, right? So this was one of the many buckets to get Bridges going, right? And the captain stepped up and pushed the ball up the court there. So I'm pleased and loving to see this a lot more, guys. I think you see the crowd around Brunson there because he was getting them in foul trouble and he was living in the paint. And with that gravity, look at the basically three guys around Brunson, and he found the freed up Mikal Bridges for the open splash on that one, and Cat was the trailer as well. So there'll be a lot of pick and pop with Cat as the trailer in that one. But you want to get Bridges and you want to get OG run up the court as fast as possible to get into the corners, because that's going to have to make two defenders commit to those guys, and then it's going to free the lane up for the drive, and we saw that tonight as well. So the wings get up the court fast and push the ball up the court, push the tempo, and the defense will collapse, I think. So that's the ammo for these guys. What's good, 25 champs in the building? What's up, Vaughn? Vaughn says Precious drives to the rim and pulls up are a sign that he's been putting in that work with coach this season. Yeah, I like that little move from Precious, right? Obviously a small sample, but he didn't even use the glass on that one. Yeah, I love this move from Cat. It had the Timberwolves coach furious as well. Some Minnesota fans hit us up as well, saying that would have been called a foul if Cat was playing for Minnesota. But I mean, I just think it was a good acting job by Minot. Basically, he wasn't forceful. He didn't shove his shoulder into him. It was just kind of like a slight push, that one, and got his freed his space up. That's what you need, man. Look, Cat's going to be a beast with us. I think this is the best starting five that Cat has ever played with. And I think this is the best starting five that Brunson's ever played with. And we saw tonight how Bridges and OG getting going is going to be lethal for the league and for us, with Brunson and Cat, because they've got more guys that they can play off. And look, the defense is just going to be scrambling all night long. So, as I said, preseason, guys, I'm going to give a A- grade so far for the 3 games, right? Not a perfect preseason, but so much to be pleased about and look forward to, right? The bench for me has been a pleasant surprise. I think the consistency of Payne, McBride, I wasn't surprised, but Payne was definitely a surprise for me. 5 of 10 from Cameron Payne tonight, 12 points, played fast, was definitely pesky defensively, but I think he was definitely a part of some lineups where the Timberwolves made a run. But the plus minus, you take that with a pinch of salt on that one. I think Cameron Payne's had a solid preseason. Same with Achua. And Landry Shamet, right, still finding his stroke, but I like what I see outside of the shooting. I think he's more than just a shooter when it comes to that. For the game, Buzzer Beater gives a B-. Salute for that. Knicks 25 champs wants to see things switched up with Josh Hart from the starting unit, saying he doesn't fit. I disagree with that. I'm still comfortable. I'm keeping Hart with the starting 5, right? I might be split. It might be split amongst the fans. I might be in the minority, but I feel like, adding a 5th guy to the starting 5 that shoots and scores is going to deplete your bench, and it's also going to make things even more tricky integrating pieces. For me, Hart's that connector that I think that the starting 5 needs, right? And I'm not going to overreact to him not shooting any shots. I think he offers things in other ways. But like I said, I might be in the minority. Tibbs might even agree with the consensus and switch things up later in the season. We'll see. But I think it's a very small sample. So we'll see how it plays out, guys, as well. I mean, for a team that's 3-0, there's a lot of negativity out there as well. So I appreciate everyone saying their piece, but we've definitely got some people that are nitpicky, I feel, with certain things. You know, you could talk to the reigning champion, the fans of the reigning champions, and there's still some things that they're not happy about. I think there's never going to be a fan base that is fully happy with everything that they see, right? But there is no perfect team, right? There is no perfect world, right? There is no Harlem Globetrotters or, you know, 92 Dream Team stepping in, you know, stepping through the tunnel, right? All that matters is that you're winning games, you know, and you just figure things out on the fly, you know. So yeah, you can make cases for either way. But if you're taking Josh Hart out of the starting lineup, let me know your thoughts. Let me know who you would want to see put in, right? Who would you want to see put in? Because if Deuce McBride goes into the starting five, right, then how is he going to get his shots, you know, as opposed to helping run the bench unit and the offense? And then if you feel like Hart doesn't score enough, putting Hart to the bench could make the bench, you know, fall into a bigger funk. I think the bench did fall into a bit of a funk early tonight as well. So I think there's just pros and cons to it all, and you know, that's where the coach, you know, earns his keep. Mr. Lee says, I'm excited for the season. Hope for the best, folks. Amen to that, brother. Old Head says, this is why Sims and Huckporty should start next to Towns. All they have to do is defend and rebound. Yep. DN says, I don't know, CT. I think in relation to the Hart situation. David says, I like Campaign. He's very decisive with the ball. Yeah, you're starting to see his experience, fam. His real, like, floor general play, you know, running the offense, I think is a big factor why Tibbs, I think, has got him as the starting point guard. Sorry, the point guard off the bench, the first point guard. Tay Max says Hart needs to start. He just has to take his open shots. I agree with that one. Yorkel says, I'm putting Achua at the 4 for the starting 5. Yeah, we'll see if Tibbs entertains that as we go. I think Achua is that versatile guy. If his shot comes along, then I'd be more open to that. I just feel like Hart's that guy that can still complement the starting 5. But I'm not disagreeing from the point of view where there will be nights where it looks ugly, because, you know, sometimes he's just, you know, in a funk, or he's, you know, the shooting isn't there. I just feel like he offers other things as well, and it's a tightrope to take Deuce or another gunner off the bench into the starting 5. But if it is Precious Achua, that could reassure our rim protection a little more. We'll see as things progress. Right, there's no doubt Cat has to do a lot more than what he did in Minnesota, I think, to get Tibbs' full trust with that one at the 5 spot. And here he is, the man, Achua, right, throwing down the hammer on that one. This was one of the highlight plays to close the game out, right? He's a big man, Precious Achua, but he's very versatile, very nimble for a 6'9" guy. Can put the ball on the deck, man, and he can throw it down from far out. And he blew by Joe Ingles on that one. But shout out to Shamit for creating the contact. He doesn't shy away, and he likes to take it strong to the rack. And that's what I need from Landry Shamit, man. Even if he isn't shooting the ball well, I love to see him attack this closeout, force to commit to Reed to get that closeout on that one. Matt says Ant and Dante was balling. They were, man. They were. And I feel like low-key Dante is going to be their second option at times, third option. I mean, who else have they got? McDaniels, Gobert, Naz Reid. He's streaky. They got Conley. I mean, I mean, obviously when Randall plays, Randall on paper is going to be the second option in my opinion, but Dante will be their second, third option, catch and shoot. So yeah, we didn't get to see Randall tonight, but I feel like Naz Reid's floor spacing was an adequate, simulation for the test that we're going to face. But obviously they're stronger if Randall's starting. So the New York Knicks, I take this win with a grain of salt. As I always do in a preseason game. But I do feel like it was a solid enough sample and test, to see us moving forward, right? But congrats to Dick Barnett once again, Hall of Fame inductee for the 24 hoop class as well. Your New York Knicks pull out their third win of preseason so far. My grade is an A- from preseason because I feel like you just want to, get the kinks out, iron things out. But there is some concerns, as there usually is. Like I said, nothing's perfect. I think Jericho Sims, we still need to figure out, is he a part of a rotation? Is he not? Is it going to be another guy or is it going to be just nobody? Is it going to be 9 men? Jericho Sims, man, fouling out in 12 minutes. That's a story from tonight. Right. That's a story from tonight. Also, another key story is Dante DiVincenzo chirping to the Knicks bench saying, this is what happens when they let you run the show, right? Right. But the media is going to feast up on that, right? The media is going to feast on that. I'm just refreshing to see if we've got any new news or captions to come out of the ball game, right, in the locker room. But some different versatile lineups. I like Deuce with Mikal Bridges playing with the bench as well. Guys, how do you feel about that? Yeah, the Wolves got some depth. That was another, I guess, positive from tonight, fam, is that I can confidently say that the Timberwolves are a top 4 team in the NBA, right? So a top 4 team in the league is going to make you look suspect at times, right? That's the test that they're going to provide, right? We're not playing Chicago tonight, we're not playing Charlotte, we're not playing, the Raptors or Brooklyn. We're playing the top 4 team in the NBA. So they had their moments tonight. We answered the call, and I think we bounced back tonight. So that's what I'm most pleased about. Chris Connors, salute, says Tyler Kolek is the answer. But since he's a rookie, they won't play him in the regular season yet. That's a sneaky good call in terms of when the bench is in a funk. If we're trying to find that 10th guy and you don't want to go for Jericho, maybe you want to go a small ball. But I do think, there's nothing wrong with letting the rookie earn his minutes early. I think a lot of these guys have had good minutes in preseason already. And I think tonight Tibbs just wanted to get a tightened rotation and tighten it up a little. But we'll see what happens against Charlotte. And we'll see what happens against the Wizards, man, in the final preseason game. We'll see. A pieces, I don't know, CT. I think if Minnesota had a full squad, they would have beaten us. They might have, I think, but it's very early to tell. Both teams trying to figure out the chemistry after a blockbuster trade. But yeah, if Julius is on the Timberwolves, it's definitely a bigger test. But I don't think that the New York Knicks front office is like locked set in terms of like against making any more moves. I feel like they will continue to explore what's out there as well. So yeah, for those of you that aren't overly confident or sold on the squad yet, I feel like look out for potential future moves at the deadline. Mitchell Robinson's salary, right, or him as a player as well, is a big factor coming back on this team. I mean, the defensive work that he can provide next to Cat with the extra floor spacing, I think that's something to look out for and be positive too. So I'm going to bring up this video. We've got some more footage of Dante and looks like what appears to be Rick Brunson getting into it. I know the media is going to have a field day on this one, and with good reason, man. Absolutely with good reason on this one, man. What do you guys think about this? Not sure if you've seen this footage yet. We're just bringing it up now. It appears to be after the post game. You got Rick Brunson and you got Dante DiVincenzo. Yep. Getting into it a bit. So, I mean, man, like I said, tempers flaring in this instance. Before I thought it was more just trash talking. But yeah, obviously when you step behind that line, there's that, there's emotions in it. I think things will calm down. But yeah, man, Dante DiVincenzo and Rick Brunson having words, needing to be separated. You got Pacome Dadier, you got Deuce McBride there as well, stepping into it. Paulus says, I saw that footage. Yep. So apologies if you guys have seen that earlier. I'm just seeing this for the first time. You're getting my live raw reaction. I thought people were speculating on the free throw situation where Dante was trash talking the bench. But I didn't see this after the ball game as well. And quite frankly, I feel like it's a poor job not separating these guys. They should have, if there was that kind of animosity, they should have been separated a bit earlier with that instance. But Rick might have said something there first. He might have instigated it. What appears, I don't know. But you see Julius all there hugging. Julius was hugging and dapping up Jake Toppin on that one. Another story is we haven't seen Jake Toppin and Kevin McCullough, right? Kevin McCullough is still rehabilitating with that situation. So I think obviously these guys are seeing each other for the first time since the trade as well, with Dante, Rick Brunson. Interesting what Jalen's doing there. He's trying to feel things out and see what's happening. Puts his arm over Dante. Tries to cool things down a bit. Great point by David here. It says, I hope they touch on that on the roommates pod. Rick can be a hothead at times too. I mean, I hope they do touch on it too, in the podcast. And I think, they do keep things real. At the end of the day, between the players and brothers and their boys for life. But in terms of just getting this clear, right? This is the first time Dante's coming back to MSG as a New York Knick, right? If you've been following the NBA for a long time, man, this ain't nothing new, right? Players get traded, they get emotional. It happens every time, homecomings, etc. But obviously, this is super close to us right now, close to me. We'll love to hear what was said. Obviously, I'm going to try to pull up if there was any commentary on what was actually said, right? I think it was reported by Bondi as well. Yep. Basically, the footage is out now, but everyone's just speculating that Dante and Rick got into a heated exchange after the game. And as far as the clip circulating of Dante at the free throw line, DiVincenzo saying he was joking with Tibbs about not being able to finish. Dante said he never said thanks for trade. The stuff with Rick Brunson wasn't joking, however, including when he looked at the Tibbs bench, at the Knicks bench, not at Tibbs, and said, this is what happens when they let you run the show. Dante said, my relationship with Jalen, that's my brother, my best friend, DiVincenzo said. That's a separate relationship. I said I'll talk about that privately with Rick and figure that out, right? So he was upset he was traded, pretty understandable. I mean, he would have loved to stay as a New York Knick and continue this run. Yeah. But with that said, I mean, people are also weighing in. Rob Perez, Worldwide Wob, says Dante and Rick Brunson are practically family. Don't waste your time on this. Right? So yeah, it was a heat of the moment exchange. But like I said, I think things they'll be lived down, right? Cat and Ant exchanging jerseys post game as well. I'll bring that up for people to see. But man, yeah, big night for the club, emotional night, homecoming of sorts. But Rick Brunson, I mean, he's not the one making moves, right? It's Leon Rose. I mean, Tibbs signed off on the trade as well. But at the end of the day, Tibbs didn't pull the trigger. It was Leon Rose, right? Leon Rose didn't have to make the trade. So when it comes to that, right, things will be lived down. We'll move forward as a club, and it is what it is, man. We've got new pieces now, right? You always have to give up good things to get a good thing, and we're ultimately going to be able to sit back and judge this trade, right? Hopefully, when the Knicks have a lot of success, and hopefully win that championship. AP says Dante DiVincenzo is a true Knick. They have to find a way to bring him back. I think the feeling would be mutual in terms of, in the future. But he's on a very team-friendly deal, so we'll see what happens in the future, fam. I mean, he even said in his farewell, he said, until next time, did Dante. So with that said, I mean, you never say never. We have got former Knicks back in the building. But yeah, Dante has squashed what he said about the trade at the free throw line. But obviously, right, obviously Dante and Rick Brunson got into a bit of a heated exchange. Now, it's picked up on all the media and all of that. Let's hear from our guy, Billy P, and also Mikal Bridges after a big game. Right, let me just get the sound up on this thing. We've got Bill Pedo interviewing Mikal Bridges post-game. And we'll hear what he had to say about the Garden crowd.
Congrats on the win and your performance. All right, here with Mikal Bridges. Mikal, congrats on the win and your performance. 10 of your 15 come in the third quarter. You guys got down by double digits. How were you able to come back?
I think just defensively. We was playing defense and we was moving the ball and we just finding each other.
Last two games of 15 tonight. You had 16 Wednesday against the Wizards. What are you doing to get acclimated to your new team and teammates as quickly as you seem to be getting used to everything?
Man, just trying to find a rhythm on both ends, just, we're new. So just trying to find this rhythm and take a little bit of time, but I think it's doing pretty well.
What was it like for you and your teammates to go up against Dante DiVincenzo and have Julius Randle in the building as well?
No, it was good, man. I know how much they did for the city. Happy for them, but yeah, it was great to see them.
All right, Mikal, great to see you, and good luck the rest of the preseason.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So there we go, man. Mikal Bridges with his first walk-off too. You love to see it. I mean, he's finding his way. We've talked about Dante and all of that, but I feel like Mikal Bridges, after the Cat trade, has kind of got lost a bit, fam, in terms of, the second major move of the offseason after re-signing OG. But, basically it was the first move, and then we re-signed OG. But getting Bridges in as the first major piece of this offseason, right? Nights like tonight, you see it, right? Can put the ball on the floor and create an offense as well, initiate and be aggressive. I think he's definitely the third and fourth best scorer in the starting five, and that's a luxury that the Phoenix Suns didn't have, the luxury that the Brooklyn Nets didn't have, and I think Mikal should just feast. He should be a guy that just feasts and takes that in his stride, right? He could have a huge season ahead, hopefully. So we've talked about the bench, Spark. I feel like that was a really good story out of tonight's game. How are you guys feeling about our bench, right? I know a lot of you want to see Hart back to the bench. Do you feel like that also strengthens our bench that we need to? Or do you feel like we just need to make an in-season move for another guy? Yeah, Mr. Lee, also Bridges is great leaking out. Yep, and he gets those fast break points. Yep. One thing I've noticed is his synergy with Josh Hart is the best out of any player in the starting five. I think with Hart will just basically give him no look passes. He'll find him cutting, and he kind of knows where he is on the floor at all times. Just like the big Ragu when he was with the team. AP says, I think we got the best third stringers in the league, CT. Looks like the Mets are getting crushed as well. Let's look at the Giants score right now. So we're halfway through the third, and it's still 0-7, man. The Giants are stuck in mud. Can they make a move? Right. Can they get on the scoreboard? So Yorker wants to see us get Marcus Smart. Looks like the front office are fans of him. I just don't know if they're going to be able to pull that one off. But again, Mitch's salary is that factor, I feel. Right now, he's not healthy. I like the bench too, Paula. I like how we're playing. Obviously, there's only been 3 games, and guys need more time than that to get into their rhythm. But I think where would we be without signing Shamit and without signing Payne? I mean, look at it this way, guys. For 2 veteran minimum guys, I mean, our bench would be barren without those 2. So lucky we got those 2 and great pickups. Champagne for me. Cameron Payne, his scoring and 3-point shooting is a welcome addition. And obviously Landry Shamet has been a factor in preseason as well. Although tonight wasn't the best with the efficiency. But you love his playmaking as well with 3 assists in 22 minutes and a +9, 13 points. Buzzabita says, CT, I feel a certain way about the Randall Cat trade, so I'm going to be a little more critical. That's fair, man. Give us your thoughts as well. Obviously it was a tough trade. It was tough to absorb. But yeah, I'm rooting for the team to succeed. I hope it succeeds, and I think it will succeed. But we did have to give up some good pieces, man. I'm not going to lie. Some good depth. Edward in the building says, how do you think we match up against the Seas? I think we match up really well. I think ultimately the buck stops with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. With all due respect to Derek White and Drew Holiday, when their offense is in a funk, those aren't the guys that are going to, lift you to a championship. So when it comes to stopping them and getting the edge, I think we've got the stoppers to do so. I feel like we can stop, we can slow down Tatum and Brown, and we've got the guys to be a bit more physical with them. So I think our most important players against Boston will be OG and Bridges. I'm not going to lie. And then we have the offensive firepower to make them pay on the other end with Cat and with Brunson. But obviously Hart versus Derek White could be the matchup that kind of splits the 2 teams. As we'll check in on the votes, guys, looks like the votes are really starting to spread out now. So we've got OG Anunoby making a big case for himself, but it looks like that the Deuce is still loose, and Deuce McBride is still the player standout of preseason so far with the Knicks streets. But OG is coming after tonight, as I thought he would. Let us know how you guys feel about the Celtics matchup. DN feels like Celtics will exploit the mismatch with Hart as the starter. Buzzer feels like when Mitch comes back, Jay Hart is coming off the bench. I hope this works too. Great points, guys. Great points. I know Tibbs loves himself some Mitch, so I won't be surprised if Mitch gets a starting spot straight away when he's healthy. But it all depends on how Cat looks as well at the 5. But the good thing is we have versatility. I think we can go to it. We can go away from it if we like. I said it after the trade. I don't want to see Cat at the 5 for 100% of the time. I think 50-50 is good enough. Enough to exploit the mismatches, but also defensively to help out. Yeah, Edward, Tatum and Brown have had a great preseason. Those guys look hungry. I think it's going to be baptism under fire in the first ball game. However, it's going to be early in the season, and obviously I won't be overreacting too much after the first game. But if we can give them a great almighty scare in that first game, that's going to give the Celtics and their fans and the NBA fans a lot to think about. Right, as the Knicks will develop more chemistry, they'll start to build on what we have. Obviously, the Boston game, man, it'll be the 6th game that these guys have come together, so it's very early in the piece. Yeah, that was my favorite play as well, Mr. Lee, when Cat muscled past Gobert for the hoop. That was great to see. Yorkel says Bridges needs to show a bit more. Buzzer says, CT, are you concerned about Brunson versus the Drew matchup? I'm not concerned at all, but I'm concerned if Drew starts to, be overly physical, man. I don't want Brunson to pick up any of those, hand injuries or anything, One thing Drew loves to hand check. He loves to slap and be really physical. That's the way he's trained. But also what I feel confident about with Brunson is he's not going to go into that tunnel vision as much as he did last season because we have more options, and because our offense might expand a bit more, fam, with the pick and pop, the pick and roll. We can expand our offense a bit more with Cat out there. We can make them pay, when it comes to punishing Kristaps, all of that, because. One thing why Cat should start at the 5 against Boston is because it's going to pull their rim protector out. It's going to pull Kristaps or Al Horford out of the paint, and that's going to allow Brunson, OG, Hart to just drive to the cup, right? And then what? You're forcing the hand of Boston to react. They don't want Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to be those help defenders and get in foul trouble, right? So it's all about the perimeter. If Cat's pulling the big out of the paint, or if they switch a small onto Cat and they try to keep Kristaps in the paint, then Cat should then get his behind down low and start to back his man down and take advantage of that. So we have the recipe, man, to make Boston really work. Boston's still the slight favorite, right? I still feel like they're the slight favorite, but I feel like we're on our day. And depending on team chemistry and how we develop as a team, I think we can beat them. Is he going to do the little things that Drew and White does? Says Edward. Yeah, I don't want Brunson working too much, but I just think he just needs to hold his own. Take those charges, all of those things. But yeah, they will try to exploit what we don't do well, and we have to try to exploit what Boston don't do well. I think that's what you guys see in a playoff series. It's going to be real mind games early in the season when it comes to facing Boston, and maybe not even giving too much away in the first game. Right? I think it's just going to be a slugfest, right? But Kristaps won't be healthy for that first game. We will be. In terms of our current starting 5, Mitch is obviously out as well. So yeah, Celtics, they've got the full squad. They've still got Al Horford. I know there was a lot said about that. That was a error. Basically, it was just a simple misunderstanding. I think on one of our pods, Bill Pito, referred to Al Horford as retiring, but that was incorrect. So apologies there. Some people may have heard that. I never said it, but it was just a misunderstanding. Al Horford is still playing. I think he entertained retirement, but he decided to go another year, man. He went Vince Carter. I got one more year in me, fam, as well. Look, personally, I would have retired on top if I was Al Horford. You won the championship. Coming back for another year is risky. Hopefully the New York Knicks are the team to dethrone them and break up the ring ceremony. Absolutely, David, man. It's going to be a prize fight on opening night, but I'm not going to read too much into it. See, where Boston rely a lot on their defense, fam. It is the anchor of their D, Kristaps, and it's the perimeter of Brown and White. Holiday and White as well. But if you can be physical with Brown and Tatum, I don't think Tatum likes guarding. You know, he likes to save his energy on the offensive side. Would I trade for Marcus Smart? Man, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think Marcus Smart would fit this team really well. I think he would fit the Tibbs mantra, the identity. But I'm not trading Deuce. I would not trade Deuce. If I could get Marcus Smart for Precious and Mitch, I would do it. I would do it if I can find a way to, get some big man help, But ultimately, another undersized guard. It's tricky, man. I think we've got to see more, and the good thing is we'll get to see more before the trade is even possible because of the deadline. And if we start balling out and we're a great record, Precious is playing really well, Mitch gets back, I might think twice about it. But I absolutely wouldn't trade a core piece. I wouldn't trade Hart. I wouldn't trade Deuce, and I wouldn't trade obviously OG, Bridges, any of those players. If it was Mitch, Shamet, Payne, Achua, Pacome Dadier, even if they were interested in Pacome Dadier. I mean, we're trying to win a championship right now. I wouldn't keep. I wouldn't trade Tyler Kolek either. I would keep Tyler Kolek out of that one. So yeah, I definitely got to keep those guys here. But yeah, I do think Marcus Smart would help this team in the postseason. I think he's that kind of guy, right? But again, the Knicks are interested. It doesn't mean that anything's imminent. It doesn't mean that they're going to do it. I feel like they like their squad. I feel like they like who we got. They want to be patient with Mitch. I think it's just all going to depend on how this thing comes together and how we look. If we start slow and things don't look as good as we hoped, then best believe that Leon Rose is going to, make some more moves, and and there'll be some more collateral when it comes to this. What do you guys think? I mean, the Magic are coming, but to say that they're better than the Knicks right now, I think that's a hot take right now. But the Magic are definitely consistent. They're coming. I think they're young. But they have to prove it first. I think they have to get to the second round. The Knicks are coming back as a stronger team, and we've made the second round 2 seasons running. So, yeah, we're building things, guys. We're building, and it's just going to take a bit of time for this to come together. But appreciate everyone's thoughts, comments, questions out here. The Knicks undefeated in preseason so far. Still some things we've got to clean up though, right? But there's been 2 games at MSG. We've got 1 more against Charlotte next on Tuesday night. Obviously we'll be live post-game. Wednesday night, we've got another guest, John Schmelk. A lot of you love to hear from John Schmelk. We've got the New York Giants currently losing to Cincinnati. It's in the third. No, looks like the Giants are 6-7 now. So there, looks like the Giants are now on the board, heading into the 4th. Right, tight ball game. Can the New York Giants overcome Cincinnati late? Now we're tied at 7-7 as the Giants have tied it up, heading into the 4th. We'll be hearing from John Schmelk regardless, fam, on Wednesday night to recap the Tuesday night game against Charlotte as well. But yeah, you know what it is, guys. The streets are always buzzing here. Team No Sleep. Smash the like button. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. I reply. So Replay Squad. If you want to know something else, or you thought of something, just add it in the comment section as well. But the Knicks win 115-110. It was an emotional night, right? But the Knicks hold on. If Julius Randle played, I think the Knicks would have been up against it. But it was a good test. to see how we fare with this new squad. And we're coming for that crown in the East, and there's going to be a lot of hyped up games tonight, man. Tonight was the first of a national broadcast, and this season, man, it's going to be absolutely buzzing. A lot of expectations, and there's going to be a lot of reputations on the line. Let's go. See you on the next one, fam. Have a great night. Hopefully the Giants can pull it out. Let's go. Peace, everyone.